This is not a real Labubu, it's a Lafufu. And if you know, you know. If you don't, ask a young person. Anyway, we're gonna learn how to make a wreath. I was scrolling on Etsy looking for some interesting ideas for the holidays, and I found these pom-pom wreaths. I like lots of color, as you can see, in the house. And on Etsy, they sell for like hundreds of dollars. I'm like, how hard can it be to make a pom-pom? So I handmade all these pom-poms, which is crazy because it takes a long time, but it's actually kind of fun. And I do it when I'm watching, you know, the Lions play or Law and Order. These are the things that I do when I have a little bit of downtime. I don't get a lot, but that's what I do. And it's easy to make a pom-pom, but it just takes a while. And if you don't want to make your pom-pom, store-bought is just fine. So we're gonna wrap this styrofoam wreath form. I'm using my glue gun. Love a glue gun. And I just found some ribbon and I'm just gonna wrap it so that, like, if you're looking at part of it, it doesn't look like bright white. I love the holidays, I really do. It's just a nice time to catch up with people that you don't see all year round. It's fun. I like to cook, I like to hang out with the family, and of course, watch my favorite Christmas time movie. It's not really a Christmas movie, but it takes place at Christmas time, and of course that is Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. Family classic. We all would get together and watch it. Not suitable for young people, by the way, but it holds up pretty good for a movie made in the 80s for sure. All right, so see, I have wrapped the form, and now we're gonna start gluing on my pom-poms and some ornaments, because I like to put ornaments in it because it makes it a little more sparkly. So they're not all perfect pom-poms. Homemade, am I right? So there you go. And I'm just gonna start putting big globs of glue on here. And the fun thing about this craft is there's no perfect way to do it. So you just put some glue on and hold that sucker down until it adheres. There we go, we have one done. But I like to pull some like kind of different ornaments, none that break, by the way. Don't use glass ornaments, use the plastic ones. I'm really thankful for a lot of things this past year, but you know, there are a lot of good stuff that we were able to get done, a lot of good things. The incredible effort to make sure that we continue to feed our kids breakfast and lunch every day in school. It's really been a game changer, and I've talked to so many parents who are thrilled that their kids are getting meals, but also grateful for the time in the morning that they're not running around trying to pack a lunch, and for the savings. You know, just that alone in the budget saves on average a family about $1,000. It's like $800 and some a year. So in feeding one student in their household. So that's real savings for people. I had the opportunity in one of the Lansing schools here to serve hot lunch with some of the lunch workers there, and they were just saying that what they notice in the behavior, what they see in terms of kids participating and taking advantage of the meal, it's just really been a wonderful thing for families. And then one of my favorite things, you know, I hosted a holiday party here for people in the neighborhood, and there was a man who showed up last night and was telling me how his sister teaches in one of the community colleges in rural northern Michigan, and wanted him to tell me what a huge difference all the resources that we've put into free community college has meant for her students, that they're getting jobs, that they're getting skills. And you know, a few $1,000s was a total barrier between a lot of people in our state and getting the skill set that they want to get, that we all need for jobs that are unfilled, and how great that that's been. So, you know, I love to hear those stories. I love it when I run into someone as I'm traveling across our state who tells me about something that they've been able to do because we made it a little bit easier to navigate. And then I think, you know, obviously got to think about our littlest Michiganders and families who are raising young children. One of the things that I always, read about, we saw the data, is how important the earliest years of life are for education, for preparation. And so the free pre-K for all was a lofty goal, people said, you know, just a handful of years ago, and now it's a reality for all the kids in Michigan. And I think that's something that you don't see the dividends paid off immediately, but over the course of a person's lifetime, what happens in those years impacts your lifelong trajectory of health and wealth. And so that's been something that's really important that we were able to get done too. People are very focused on the cost of living. You know, we are a state where we're feeling a lot of pressure in our economy because we're such a manufacturing state and because of tariffs. So the things that we've been able to do to help people keep more money in their pockets, really, really impactful. And rolling back the retirement tax, making sure that we increase the earned income tax credit, which we call the working families tax credit. People who are working full-time who struggle to get ahead. These are real families that are getting hundreds of dollars of relief because of the work that we did on both of these fronts. And I think that's something that's been really important as we see how high the cost of everything is right now and how challenging the marketplace has been. You know, this year with a Republican-led House and a Democratic-led Senate, we were able to do more when it comes to and find some common ground around additional relief for people. So by eliminating tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security, that's just one more way that we've been able to help more Michiganders keep more money in their pockets. I go through a lot of glue with this glue gun on these wreaths. And of course, I mean, how could Gretchen Whitmer talk for more than 5 minutes about anything and not talk about the damn roads? So I'm really, really glad that we were able to finally get a good longer term road plan done. This is so important. You know, when I was traveling the state as a candidate for governor, this is what people talked about the most. And for me, it was a conversation with a woman from Flint who hit a pothole and it busted the rim on her car. And it took her off the road for a whole day, took money out of her rent and childcare. And I think that was what really crystallized for me that when we fix the damn roads, of course it's good for our economy. Of course it's good for keeping people safe on the roads. But it's also a fundamental, right? It keeps money in your pocket. It helps you get to work on time and keeps you from having to spend your hard-earned money fixing your car. I like it, it's coming together. And of course, you know, we know that one of the biggest pressures on anyone's budget is making sure that they can see a doctor when they need to. And so the work that we did to protect health care and access for over 2 million Michiganders is something that I think is profoundly important and was really hard to do in this environment with all the cuts that are coming from Washington, D.C., but we got it done in Michigan. And when our neighbors lose access to health care, you know, yeah, it's terrible for them. It's terrible for everyone, though. This isn't about one group of people or another. No matter where you get your health care, if a hospital closes because they can't afford to provide that care, even if you get your health care through your employer, you can't access it if the hospital's closed. So it impacts every one of us. So my friends in Macomb County already know the importance of Selfridge Air National Guard Base, but let me tell you why it's important to all of us in the state of Michigan. So Selfridge Air National Guard Base has about $1 billion impact on our state's economy. It is one of the linchpins to all the other bases that we have. We knew that the fighter mission was potentially coming to a close. People on both sides of the aisle, all of our members of Congress, predecessors of mine, have been trying to get a guarantee of a continued fighting mission at Selfridge, because without that, everything else is in jeopardy. And so one of the things that I was really happy and proud to get done, even though, you know, there's a lot of hullabaloo about it, is we got that fighter mission done. President Trump came to Michigan, we made the announcement, and you know, it really was a bipartisan effort. And it's something that I think as we grow our defense sector in Michigan, and we've had some great wins on that front in the last few years, manufacturing automobiles is not that big a difference from manufacturing defense. And that's why we gotta do it right here in Michigan. And so we've got the expertise, and now we've got a fighter mission that will help us continue to lead in this space. And of course, You can't really talk about what's going on in Michigan without focusing on the water. One of the big threats to the Great Lakes. You know, there are a lot. We got a lot of responsibility because this is 21% of the world's fresh surface water is in the Great Lakes. It's a big deal. We have invasive species of carp that has been swimming toward the Great Lakes. It's a real threat. They're massive. They devastate the aquaculture in the Great Lakes. They'll eat up so many of the fish that we rely on, that our economy relies on. And we were able to secure a commitment to building the Brandon Road lock, which will help keep the invasive carp from getting into Lake Michigan. That protects Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie. I mean, they're all connected, and this has been something that was a really important effort that we were able to get done this year too. In every community across Michigan, there is a need for more affordable housing. And it's not unique to Michigan. This is an issue all across the country. And so we've been really aggressively working, MISHDA has, and with the help of the legislature and the work that we've done at the state level, and with so many partners across the state, builders, but also nonprofits, we've been able to really get aggressive when it comes to building up affordable housing. And we set some early goals that people thought were unobtainable. We hit those goals early, and then we've re-upped. And so I've been able to get into some really cool projects that are happening, whether it's in rural parts of northern Michigan or it's in Grand Rapids or downtown Detroit. We've been creative, we've been moving fast, and we're seeing that investment pay off and more affordable housing coming online and being available to people. That one could be glass. Nope. Just a few years ago, Michigan was on the cusp of going back to a 1931 law, which would have had one of the most restrictive abortion bans in the country. And I'm really proud that we have been able to repeal that 1931 law, that we have expanded efforts to support new moms and babies, that now we're providing free contraception so that people can access the care that they need to protect themselves and avoid unwanted and unplanned pregnancies. And we made it easier to have a family if you've been struggling to, by legalizing surrogacy. So it's really been a pro-family agenda. How you build your family and whether or not you have the opportunity to build a family, that's your decision. And we've empowered people to make their own decisions. Michigan's a leader on that front. I need some more bling. The landscape for becoming a teacher has become very challenging. It is an incredibly important profession, and it's a profession and should be treated like such and should be treated with respect and honored. And so one of the many things that we've done in relation to how we've set the state priorities is to make it easier for people to pursue teaching through ways to ensure that you don't take on a ton of debt to get your teaching certificate and to even get paid while you are getting trained. And that's something that I've heard from so many districts has really been a huge help in terms of recruiting and getting good people to take on these important roles. One of the things we were able to get done early on that I think has been hugely helpful to our state is getting the Michigan Reconnect done. This was something that Tennessee was doing, and I've told everyone, I'm not above stealing another state's good idea and putting a Michigan spin on it. And so working with the business community and legislators on both sides of the aisle, we were able to fashion a program that helps people who are 25 and up go back to school and enhance their skill sets. We've also created the Michigan Achievement Scholarship so that every high school graduate, we're not getting dollars off of whether they go into the trades, whether they get a skill certificate, or they pursue a four-year degree. There is honor in all walks. What our job is to level the barriers that keep people from getting the skills they need to get good paying jobs. And we've made tremendous headway on all those fronts. One of the interesting challenges in the economy right now is recognizing that the world's changing, and the world's changing fast. And Michigan has boasted this great manufacturing sector. We built the middle class here in Michigan, and these are great, traditionally paying jobs. But we also know that the way that cars are being built not just today, but in the foreseeable future, maybe forever, will continue to evolve, will continue to get more intensive, will continue to need a new set of skills. And so landing big investments, whether it is in batteries, or it is in semiconductors, or it is in what is happening with artificial intelligence. We can have qualms about some of the policy around them, but we cannot afford to deny what is happening and where we are heading as an economy, as a nation, as a state. And that's why these investments have been really important. It's important that we do it right. It's not just about landing an investment, but it's about making sure that we're doing it right, that we're being good stewards, that we're giving people value and money back in their pockets. We can't afford to say one or the other. We gotta say yes to all of the above. So yeah, it is really wild to be going into the 8th and final year as governor. I am excited about the next year. I got a lot that I want to get done over the next 12 months. But I'll also say, again, I'm really proud of how far we've come. To be one of the top 10 places in the country to do business 3 years in a row. This year we broke into number 6, which is our highest ever. To making Michigan a place where people can afford to and want to raise their families, all families, no matter who you are, and create an opportunity for people. There's no question, there are a lot of headwinds with tariffs and a lot of the other stuff that impacts what happens here and what happens in our daily lives, but Michigan's got a great story to tell, and I think it is a remarkable place. And the best part about this place is the people who call it home. The goal has always been to make Michigan an attractive place for all people, for all talented people looking for an opportunity, for all families who are looking for a place to call home, for all entrepreneurs who want to build their dream. And whether it is making sure that every person has full civil rights protections under the law, like we did with the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act, or ensuring that you can afford to buy a home in whatever part of the state you want to live in, or that you can even access the internet. We've made huge strides on all of these fronts to make Michigan a place where all people can build the life that they want. Nope. Ooh, yeah. I like that color. See, I go through a lot of pom-poms on these. And a lot of glue.